Welcome to the Human Meme Podcast. I'm David Bowles. The telephone went to speaker at 3 in the afternoon on a Tuesday in August, and the voice that came out of it belonged to family, calling from a small town in Nebraska where it had been raining for days. The call carried two things at once, the way a plane's telephone always has: a death in the family, and a storm inventory, item by item in the flat voice the planes keep for damage. Trees down across the county, the grain silo wrecked, more than 100 utility poles broken, 34 of them in a row on one county road, snapped at ground level and thrown across into the lines and trees on the other side. And the town held its festival anyway, in the middle of the ruins, because the festival had been running since 1901, and a storm was not going to be the thing that stopped it. That phone call is the first page of my new book. The book is called First the Sky Turns Green, Reading the World Before It Strikes. And it is out now. I want to tell you what it is because I have been writing toward it for a long time, longer than I knew. The book is about the oldest human technology, older than letters, older than roads, older than fire's instruction manual. It is about the read, a prediction made from partial signal under time pressure. Before humanity read letters, it read the world, the color of the sky, the grain of the wind, the temper of the season. And it survived by the quality of its reading. That is the claim of the book, and the first chapter makes it standing in an alley in North Loop, Nebraska, in the rain, with a man named Russ watching a green horizon assemble over the fields and knowing what it meant. A green sky over that valley meant water was coming. That was the family's dialect, taught at the porch the way the weather teaches, by verdict. The prediction spoken aloud, and then the sky grading the child in front of everyone. No book, no chart, no lesson plan. The alphabet was color. And every weekend the boy was handed it again. The boy was me. The family on that phone call is my family. I did not know, for most of my life, that what I learned at that window had a name in the scholarship, or a literature, or a war being fought over it. The book is my answer to finding out. Here is what the middle of the book does. It walks the first literacy through its native grounds, and it takes its time. A lifeguard reading the 4 signs of a rip current. Because the loveliest water on the beach is the mouth. A fire lieutenant who pulls his crew out of a house a minute before the floor collapses and cannot tell you why. A tracker in the Kalahari at first light reading last night's news in the dust. A nurse passing a hospital doorway at 3 a.m, and then not passing it. A bouncer who has been still for an hour, and then gets down off his stool. Each of them is reading the world. None of their knowledge credentials. None of it certifies, and so none of it prices. The book has a name for them: the unlicensed clerisy. The people who read the world for a living and were never once called by that name. Then the book turns. Because we have built machines that read for us. The forecast app, the backup camera, the monitor over the hospital bed. And the gains are real, and the book says so, plainly and on the record, because a book that hides the gains is a pamphlet. But every readout retires a literacy, and the retirement is always silent. There is a finding from 1983, an engineering paper by a researcher named Lisanne Bainbridge, that the whole back half of the book stands on. The system automates the readable work, diskills the watcher, and then hands its Worst moments, cold. To the person, it has been distilling all along. If that sentence sounds like the week you have been having at work, this book is for you, and there's a chapter I will only point at. The night of July 16th, 1999. A small aircraft over the water off Martha's Vineyard. The haze has erased the horizon. The body's instruments are lying, confidently, the way they were built to. And the panel is telling the truth. That chapter is the book's coldest room, and its ruling is the ruling of the whole third movement. Calibration, never nostalgia. But the book does not end in the cold. It ends at a kitchen window. The recovery, the last movement, is one sentence long. Look up and say what you see out loud. A child at the window, an adult beside her, the horizon doing the teaching, exposure, prediction, verdict, thousands of times. That is the recipe, and any household can run it, and the book shows its work for that claim too. The dedication says it best, so I will read it to you. For Jana, and for everyone who ever stood at a window with a child and said, "Look up." Now the celebration part, because this is the human meme, and you have been with me for the making of this thing. First, The Sky Turns Green is out now as a Kindle ebook, and as a Kindle paperback. Cream paper, 5.5 by 8.5, 319 pages, with a real index mapped to the actual pages. The audiobook is in preparation, and there is a companion for the narrator that I am genuinely proud of, a pronunciation guide, and a chapter-by-chapter briefing. Because a voice carrying this book deserves to know where the ground is. You can find all of it at bowlesbooks.com. I have published more than 50 books since 1975. This one is different for me, and I will tell you why in one sentence. Most of my books argue with the century. This one argues with the weather. And the weather was my family. So, thank you for listening, thank you for reading, thank you for being the room this podcast has always been. The sky over your town is doing something right now. Go to the window, look up, and say what you see out loud. For the Human Meme Podcast, I'm David Bowles, wishing you a clear evening and a brighter tomorrow. Thanks for listening. Be a human meme.